So today we're going to talk about 7. In Jin Shin Jyutsu, 7 came into the universe meaning victory. And 7 is known as a sacred number in numerology. And this victory of the 7 is, 7 has the ability, first of all, 7 has an inherent fear of the future. And because of that fear, 7 needs to believe in something bigger than just this current reality. And so 7 very often is the idealist and the spiritual seeker. And because of that, because 7 has this deep empathy and this sort of reverence for life and is looking for the meaning of life and wants to answer the bigger questions of life, when 7 finds that, that's when they are able to embody that victory. All right. So it's also 7 is the number of the Christ consciousness. It's that I want to say guru likeness. Okay. So please, 7s are not gurus. They are not messiahs, and they are not necessarily like Jesus. All right. They are seekers and they are idealists, and they have a deep empathy for the mysteries and the meaning of life. 7s are independent. They like to take the road less traveled. They generally like to be alone. They can be very chatty and out and about, but they do need time to be alone in order to regroup. They also are generally, they often are art lovers. They can be very devoted. They take a long time to trust, but once they do, they are extremely devoted to people. However, when their trust is betrayed, they can become what's the word? I want to say aggressive, but it's not really. Wait, let me just look at my notes here. They can become vengeful. They can be reclusive. They can be aloof. They can appear to be unemotional. So one of the gifts of the 7 is that they can be detached. They can see things in a detached way. They can take the emotion out of it. But one of the reactive qualities of the 7, the downside of that is that they can become very aloof, and they can be apt to the point of being unemotional. They can also be very fearful. I said they have an inherent fear of the future. They can be very insecure, and they become extremely anxious. They can also be very intense. So there's always a price to pay, all right? So this idealistic 7 thinks that if everyone just did their bit in the world would be a better place. So people with 7s often are the ones that are, they're the guys who recycle. They're the ones who care about the earth. They're the ones who generally follow some sort of spiritual practice or some sort of path, right? Not necessarily religion, but they have a deep-seated spiritual belief. They very often they're not really team players, so they don't often form part of the group. They're very often off on their own mission. They can be very inspirational. They can be, their detachment makes them great in a crisis. They can be very inquiring. They have very inquiring minds. They like to know things, right? Because they need to explore the unknown in order to get that sense of security, something that they can hang on to. You will have a 7 in your root of your life map if you are born in July. You'll also have it if you're born on the 7th of the month, if you're born on the 16th of the month, or if you're born on the 25th of the month. Then you will have a 7 in the root of your life map. And obviously, if you reduce your year number to a single digit and there's a 7 there, you will have it there as well. 7s generally, as I said, are the spiritual seekers. They're the idealists. Another downside of the 7 is they very often take on other people's stuff, right? Because they're sensitive that way. So that is not a good thing, guys. It's not a good thing. We've all got enough of our own shit. We don't need to take on anyone else's. So that is one of the things that 7s do need to be aware of. I hope you found that useful. I'll speak to you tomorrow about the 8s.